Senator Lindsey Graham joins us now live from Capitol Hill. All right, Senator, do you think anyone there is going to give him a break, some credit for this?
I hope so. He deserves some credit. And I would, if you really want to save thousands of more jobs, Mr. President-elect, get the EXIM Bank up and running. We've lost 500 jobs in Greenville, South Carolina, because GE couldn't get financing here in America, had to go to the French EXIM Bank, and they required us to move 500 jobs. So if you get that bank up and running, you'll save thousands more. But congratulations. Well done, Mr. President-elect. Good job.
Well, what do you think about some of the nominees that he has had thus far? Do you think those are the kind of people that will get things done, like address this EXIM Bank issue you're talking about?
I hope so. I haven't seen a name yet. I don't know this Treasury guy. I wouldn't know him if I met him. But the bottom line is the names on National Security, Secretary of State, the Fabulous Five, as I call them, all great choices. Mad Dog Madison, great Defense Secretary choice.
Well, we're still waiting on that one.
Good.
We do think he's the front runner,
right.
But, you know.
Yeah, but if he is picked, he's good, and there are other names out there for SecDef that I think we could all support. So I think he's putting together a really good cabinet.
Well, let's talk about your colleague, Senator Jeff Sessions, who immediately, he's up for Attorney General. That's going to require going through the Senate. Right. And you've got Democrats there, some of them saying that they are concerned about his record. And I mean, I've got an email inbox full of people talking about what a terrible person he is. How do you think it's going to go for him in the Senate?
Well, I think you'll have one friend in Lindsey Graham who say he's a very nice person. I disagree with Jeff on some immigration issues and other issues. He's a decent guy. He's a highly qualified former U.S. attorney, great man, good character, will give good, sound legal advice to President Trump. I enthusiastically support him for Attorney General. I'm sure he'll do well at the hearing. I'll ask him hard questions, but he's going to get confirmed. Good choice.
All right, someone else that you may have some disagreements with about immigration, the president-elect. You know what a hard line he took with Senator Sessions right there by his side during his campaign, and a lot of people liked what they heard, and that's why they voted for him. Now I understand that you and some colleagues from both sides of the aisle are working on a bill that would give protections to people who came here as children illegally. They're here illegally, but they came here as kids. It's something that went all the way to the Supreme Court when the president used executive action to extend some of those programs. So now you want to draft something. Explain it for us, because listen, when I put this out on Twitter, the response, as you imagine, was mixed, and some of the words I can't say on TV unless I want to pay a fine.
Well, I hope you turn their names over to Santa Claus, because it's almost Christmas. Here's what I want to do. President Trump is right to repeal the executive order that President Obama issued. You can't just randomly pick people and give them legal status as president. That's outside the constitutional authority of the president. He chose to do that. These kids did not choose to come to America. They were brought here by their parents as little children. But is there an incentive for their parents to bring them here if they know they're going to get some kind of deal? Yeah, there'd be plenty of incentives if we don't fix this. If we don't secure our border, if we don't control illegal immigration, they'll keep coming. But there's 740,000 of these kids who signed up for this program that President Obama originated. Here's what I would advise President Trump to do. Set aside the executive order and urge Congress to give legal status to these kids for at least a few years until we can fix the problem overall. Here's my belief. Two wrongs don't make a right. It was wrong for Obama to do this, and it would be wrong for this country to take these 740,000 plus children, throw them back into the shadows after they've come out and told us who they are and where they live. And I think 75% of America would want to treat these kids better than throwing them back into the shadows.
Well, just to be clear, some of these people are not kids. I mean, we're talking about people who were born after 1981. So we're not talking about 2001. I mean, these are people that are now adults, and they're fully aware that they're here illegally.
They came here, they came here as minors. All of them came here as minors. Now they have grown up in America. They've got no other country to go back. And if you repeal the executive order, I think that makes perfect legal sense. But if you take these 740,000 people who have identified themselves as being illegal and you basically ruin their lives, you're not helping fix immigration. That's not what makes America great. I cannot live with myself, quite frankly, as a United States Senator, to support legislation that would take 740,000 people who voluntarily came forward and throw them to the wolves. There's a better way. The right way is to repeal the executive order, continue their legal status for a period of time, and have Congress finally get this right. Secure our border, control who gets a job, increase legal immigration, deport crooks and felons, and understand there's a difference between a grandmother and a drug dealer. But I'm telling you right now, Shannon, most Americans will not like the idea that we trick these kids to come out of the shadows, even though it may have been illegally, then turn around and ruin their lives. That's not what makes America great.
Yeah, and just so people understand, part of that program that gives them legal status, as you said, required them to come forward and provide information rather than hiding. So the government now has that information. I know that's a concern for a lot of folks. And while you're speaking here, Senator, we are looking live at the president-elect, the vice president-elect, sitting down there at the Carrier plant and talking with leaders there. They're going to speak publicly as well. But in the meantime, folks are looking at a live shot of them as well. So about this legislation, I know that you have bipartisan support, that you feel confident that it will move forward. It's not going to be until the next Congress, so that's going to be with President Trump. Will he sign it?
You know, I don't know, but here's what I would hope he would do. I would hope he would repeal the executive orders of President Obama, because that's not the way to do business. I hope he would support legislation in the Congress not to ruin these kids' lives and make it a win-win, that we get back to the way the Constitution should work, that would give a temporary reprieve to these kids until Congress can work with the new president to fix immigration. I will do anything I can to help President Trump fix a broken immigration system, and I think we can do that without ruining these kids' lives. And, you know, at the end of the day, we'll see what he does, but I think he's the kind of guy who wants to make sure we do things right. Most Americans would appreciate both things, repealing the executive order and also making sure these kids' lives are not ruined. I think most Americans would be behind him there. And if he did support this legislation, I think it would pass in the New York Minute.
All right, Senator, we know you're never one to shy away from controversy, so keep us updated. Good to see you, sir.
Merry Christmas.